Hey, guess who's back? Well, kind of back. Let me explain. So, hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, do you remember that bald bloke from the north of England that used to upload sim racing videos to YouTube? Well, I'm back. Well, kind of. I'm back enough to start creating some content. Now, some of you may or may not know, some of you probably, or most of you probably don't even care. But I've been in the process of moving all of my sim racing stuff from downstairs up into this room here. Now, I had a perfectly suitable room downstairs, big enough for two aluminium profile rigs, both with triple screens, but it was a bit of a thoroughfare. You know, you came in one door, and at the back of the room, there was the laundry room where the washing machine, tumble dryer, another shower was. So people were constantly using that room. And if I was sim racing or creating content, people couldn't really use it because they would be on YouTube. And obviously the tumble dryer was in that room. So when the tumble dryer was on, the sim racing room used to get really hot. And another thing, the window that I could never open really was by the front door. That's why I didn't open it. So if I opened the front door and the postman came or somebody with a parcel or somebody else, they would probably hear me shouting expletives or asking if everybody was all right. They would have just thought that I was mental. So I made the decision to move everything from downstairs into this room here. So this was a spare bedroom, and it's been a bit of an investment, not only in time, but also financially, to get this room ready to enable me to create content again. So in this video, I'm going to try and explain what I've been doing, why it's taken so long, why I've not created content, what's going to happen moving forwards. It's totally unscripted, just waffling on, so you're going to have to bear with us. If this is not your kind of thing, please feel free just to switch off and go and watch somebody else, because I'm not going to be sim racing. You've just got to put up with this money maker. So I had a clear vision of what I wanted this room to look like, but that's changed even in the last week. It became apparent very quickly that when I started putting everything together, things weren't going to fit. So over my left shoulder there, you will see the brand new SimLab P1X Ultimate Cockpit. Now, I have recorded the build, and I will do a video on that as soon as I get around to doing it. This is literally the first day that I've been able to record anything, but a bit of a spoiler, it's absolutely incredible. The finish on the rig is incredible. I love the finish on the original P1X and the P1X Pro, but that's genuinely on another level. So the P1X Ultimate is there. Now, if you watch my desk video, you might have noticed that that's where my desk was, and that's where I wanted my desk to be. So I thought, when I do these pieces to camera over my shoulder, you're going to see two rigs, both with triple 27s. It's going to be like a really cool looking backdrop, but they were just too wide. The room's about 10 or 15 centimeters too short to get two rigs in side by side. So I've had to come up with another solution, and I actually quite like where we are now, the solution that I've come up with. So I'll give you a little bit of a look. I'll move the camera, so bear with us. Before we do, you might notice this fella. If you've watched the channel long enough, you'll remember little Stiggy. I was given this by a friend of mine at my old job, Adrian. You might think it's some expensive toy, but it isn't. It's just like shower gel or bubble bath or something. But Adrian gave me that, and he didn't know I sim raced at the time. He didn't know I did YouTube at the time, because I kept the worlds completely separate. So he gave me that. So thanks, Adrian. I would never ever get rid of that. It's a really good reminder of where the channel's been and where it is now, and that's always been there as long as I have. So Stiggy's staying. It's nice to be able to get him back in view for everybody to see. So, sorry, I went off track there a second. So you come in the doorway there. Oh, that's another thing I want to mention. So this here, I bought it from, is a local fella who repurposes things like this. Move the camera on a bit more. Repurposes things like this and makes them into lights. So this is an old military kind of multimeter or something like that. So the center dial lights up, and the bulb at the top obviously lights up. Very expensive for what it is, but it's a local guy making some really cool stuff. So I bought it off him. So that's a nice little addition to the desk. And because I'm now on a bigger desk, I can actually use that. So there's the doorway coming in. This is where the desk was going to be. That's where I wanted it. But obviously it's not there now. I'm at the desk in the center of the room. So we've got the brand new SimLab P1X Ultimate Cockpit. Above that, we've got a 34-inch ultrawide. I used to use that for editing. Now I'm using my OLED TV. So I used to use that for editing. And then we've got where I'm sitting right now. I'll just move the camera back. I'll try and change scene actually. Hopefully the microphone will still work. So this is where I am now. Microphone should be working. P1X, me, and then to my right hand side, we have got another rig. So that is my P1X Pro that I was using downstairs. Beautiful rigs. That is Julie's rig. And that there behind me, this here, apparently that's the outside. Why anybody would want to go outside when you've got a sim racing room, I'll never know. But yeah, so the room now is set up pretty good. I quite like it. But it's just made managing the cables a little bit more challenging. Now, I did get a little bit of help from a company called AV Access. So I reached out to them and they sent me this. This is the U3EX100 high-end 100-meter USB 3.2 extender. Now, I wanted this room to be quite clean. I didn't want to have cables everywhere. And because where the desk was going to be in relation to the computers, it meant that like having normal conventional length USB cables wasn't going to be good enough. And I was exploring the idea of having my Elgato capture card quite a way away from the computer, try and keep temperatures down. But that's not why I'm using this. So normally you'd obviously plug your USB into the computer, maybe use an extension if you can get away with it. But the Elgato capture card, or the 4K X, is a USB 3 device. So I couldn't really extend it beyond a couple of meters. But I'm actually using it for this thing here. I'll show you now. This is an Elgato prompter. So I'm looking at the camera, which is right through there. I'm actually watching Steel River Sims IMSA racing now on YouTube Live. So you wouldn't know, but I'm looking at the camera right now. But I'm actually watching Duncan racing. It's mental. So this is a USB 3 device. The cable runs from here down around the room over here, all the way down the back to the computer behind me. So essentially you plug in the device, you plug this device into the computer that you want the USB signal to go into. You plug an Ethernet cable into that. You run that Ethernet cable wherever you want, up to 100 meters with this one. And then it's almost like a USB hub at the other side that you plug in, then you plug your USB devices in there. So I've got the keyboard, mouse, and the Elgato prompter plugged in now. I could probably plug in another USB hub there and get more USB devices. So that means that the cable running from that side of the room round here was about 9 meters, believe it or not, which is far too long for a USB 3 device. And essentially this is a screen. So yes, I can use it as an Elgato prompter, but it's essentially a USB monitor. So quite a bit of bandwidth. Crucial that, you know, you've got to plug them straight into the PC or use that USB extender over Ethernet. And I liked it that much that I actually bought its little brother or sister. This is the U2EX50. So this only goes up to 60 meters, and that's a USB 2 device. And I've got that running from the computer to that computer there, which the Rodecaster is plugged into that, because that Rodecaster Duo can provide audio to 2 computers at the same time. So it's providing audio to my rig and to Julie's rig behind me when I want it to. I've got the Stream Deck plugged in there, so I can control all of the USB devices from that computer there. So that's perfect. And I've also got a Go XLR Mini, which I'm talking to now on the desk. So I've got separate audio for each device. So I bought that one, and this one actually wasn't that expensive, USB 2 over Ethernet. And that's not running that far, actually. I'm probably running that within USB spec, USB 2 spec. I could have probably bought a couple of cheap cables, but that was 50 quid. A couple of decent USB cables, extension cables, you're probably going to pay a tenner a piece. So I thought, do you know what? Buy once, cry once. And then if I do change my setup or whatever, I can use that. So AV access, I'll show that a little bit more when I do a proper room tour and how I've got things set up. But I wanted the room to be wire-free or as wire-free as I could get it. So if you look there, you've got a wire, maybe just see it there behind Stig. So I've got a wire come down there. That's just an extension plug, but that's the only wire you can really see in the room. So round there, up the back, down under there, that there, the black is just a shadow, but there is cabling running under there. Just next to the computer there is the USB, the Elgato capture card. I did cut a bit out of the trunking so I could pop that out and expose it, just so I could plug the HDMI into the computer, into the computer, into the capture card, sorry. And then I've got trunking all the way around the rest of the room. So it is quite a clean looking room that I've got now. I do like it. I do need to sort out the cable management behind the OLED TV that I've got now. So this is where I'm going to do my editing. I'm definitely not going to be playing games on here, I promise. I've got the sound deadening devices. What do they call them again? I can't remember what they're called now anyway. But I got those from Steel River Sounds, who I'm actually watching on YouTube here right now. So Duncan, he makes these as well. So they're to go on the walls. I've got a couple of other bits and pieces to do. But we're pretty much there. Anything else to tell you about here? I don't think so. There's just a video going to be coming up for the new rig. As soon as I get a chance to sit down and edit it together. I did buy this, actually. So I bought a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So I did use that for parts of the build, just to give you a close-up of materials and all that kind of stuff. So a bit of a nightmare to get it into this place. And it's not only been an investment in time, it's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of money as well. So to get this room ready, it's probably cost about 5,000 quid because it needed replastered. I needed to get the electrician in, the plumber needed to come in, needed new flooring down. I've spent money on cables, mic arms, camera arm. Like, I've gone a bit mental. But again, I thought buy once, cry once. So I've got it all now. A bit of an investment financially, but time-wise, I've probably missed out on like 3-4 weeks worth of content, which is a bit of a nightmare. I've missed out on the whole Split 22 carry on as well. You know, that would have been nice to cover, but other people covered that. I mean, people were almost wanting the heads. Yeah, ban them from iRacing, but like it doesn't need to go any further than that, in my opinion. I was reading like Facebook comments and Reddit, and people were talking about contacting the sponsors and stuff like that and getting them banned from motorsport, and it doesn't need to go there. Like, let's put things in perspective. The young kids, they've done something stupid. I would hate to think if I did something here now, I would hate to think that would impact my life negatively. You know, if I did something stupid, fair enough, like racism or if you're homophobic or things like that, things that, you know, should never ever be, you know, shouldn't be in this world. You know, if you're going to start shouting about those, yeah, you should be held to account on every level, not just in the niche that we operate in here in sim racing. But they were just young kids acting like knobheads. Ban them from iRacing. That's all that should happen, really, in my opinion. And the Le Mans Ultimate version 1 has dropped. I missed that as well. I mean, Studio 397 were kind enough to send me a code early access, but I never got a chance to have a look at it. So apologies to those guys, but that's definitely on my to-do list for this week if possible. Have a look at the finished product version 1.0 and see what it's all about. So apart from that, everything's pretty much there. I do need to sort out the lighting. Although I do like just this nice bright room. Historically, I've always had like a blue backlighting, quite a dark room, blue backlighting. But I quite like this light, bright room. This is where I'm going to do all my intros from and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have a bit of a light room. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Yeah, I've got some little accent lighting going on, and I'll probably put on my Govee lights on the desk. So when I'm racing, you'll see them in the background, you know, yellow or whatever, green or whatever. I'll probably put that on the desk so you can see that in the background. But apart from that, I'm not too sure what lighting I should have. But I'm actually quite happy with how the room's turned out. Just needs finishing touches. Job's a good one. So I don't know if I've already mentioned this. I've been talking that much, but content will then slow down after next week because on the 3rd of August, Julie and I get married. A lot of people think we're already married, but we're not. We actually get married on the 3rd of August. I can't wait. I'm actually really excited. Just over a week away. I haven't even started my speech. That's how busy I've been. So a week today, a week on Friday, Julie and I are actually going to have a stag and hen sim racing event. We're going to do some streaming. We're going to host some races. I'm going to have a couple of beers. Julie will have a couple of glasses of wine, no doubt. We're just going to hang out, have a chat, do a bit of a stag, hen, streaming, sim racing type deal. I don't know what it's going to be like. I need to get everything set up for streaming because it's not. But it should be good fun and it'll be a chance to have a proper catch up. So a massive shout out to everybody who's helped get this sim room set up. Flexi Spot, Sim Lab, AV Access, PC Specialist with the new chair. Honestly, absolutely superb. I've had loads of help, but I've obviously had to put my hand in my pocket as well. But collaboratively, we've got it done and we're here and we're ready to start making some proper content. So hopefully, I'll see you on track very, very soon. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.